I'm sorry about everything. Mollie pushed her phone back into her lycra running shorts pocket, her stomach constricting in guilt. She loved her husband. That was never in question, but it was too painful to think about him right now. He knew her well enough, guessing that she'd come here. She was nothing but predictable. She always ran back to her childhood home, to her dad, when she was in trouble. She carried on, moving from a slow jog to a run. Mollie wanted to push herself, feel the burn in every muscle until her mind stopped turning, only focusing on the mud track she was on. She hadn't run for months on the advice of her doctor, but there was nothing to stop her now, and she was desperate to embrace it. A red-tailed hawk cried out as it patrolled the skies overhead, but Mollie didn't stop to look up. She continued pounding the path, her head low. Early morning sunlight peeped through the green canopy of tall trees. Juniper and wildflowers lined the trail, and a rich, jewelled green moss plaited itself amongst the tangle of tree roots. Once Mollie reached Vesper Hill Chapel, she turned and began the descent. Mollie walked the last 100 yards, allowing her body to cool down. She breathed in and out deeply, and for a moment thought she might spit up the glass of lemon water she'd had when she awoke. And then she was back on Calderwood Lane, making her way home. She knew it was strange that at 35 years old she still called it that, because home should be with her husband in Portland, not here in Camden where she had grown up. Immediately, her mind began throwing questions she refused to acknowledge. Damn it. Mollie began jogging again, pushing herself forward once more and burying the questions deep inside her. Mollie! She looked up, startled when she heard her name called out. Her father, Albie, was staring at her, his brow furrowed in worry. Sorry, I was miles away, she responded. The speed you came up the driveway, I thought you would take the front gate off its hinges, her dad said, leading the way into the house and kitchen. Sit down, catch your breath, and I'll get you a cold drink. Mollie looked around the cozy kitchen, a throwback to another era. It had changed very little over the decades since her grandparents had first moved in and decorated it in the late 1950s, or since her father and Mollie had moved back in once her parents divorced. It had always felt like home, in a way that the townhouse she shared with Nolan never had. She watched her dad take a glass from the open shelf, rinse it quickly, and then fill it with iced water from the large double-sided fridge. Drink it slowly. Anyone would think you have the devil on your tail. Her dad narrowed his eyes as he watched his daughter. Nah, just your neighbours. I didn't stop to say hello when I ran past them earlier. Fair warning. Huh, they'll be over within the hour, I've no doubt. To see the celeb. Her dad winked. Don't tease, you know I hate all that nonsense. Goes with the territory, Mollie. You're a household name whether you intended to be one or not. You are one of the voices that wakes up Maine every morning. That's a big deal for most around here. Mollie held back a sigh. I'm only the sidekick. The real celeb is Donnie. The clue is in the show name, Breakfast with Donnie. And Mollie wasn't being coy. Her co-host was a national treasure, had been the lead anchor for over 40 years. Mollie just felt lucky to have a seat beside him every day. As far as I'm concerned, you're the shining star, and last time I checked, the show garnered at least 100,000 views every day. That's a lot of people watching, not just Donnie, but you too, her dad said firmly, signaling the debate was over. Mollie and her dad swapped smiles. He was her biggest supporter, and she loved him for it. Pancakes? No thanks, but a green tea would be nice. Mollie was carrying an extra 10 pounds that the TV screens did not forgive. She knew she shouldn't care, that she should say to hell with it and flaunt her curves. But the truth was, she did. And she planned on getting rid of her flabby tummy and double chin over the next 2 weeks while she was on vacation.